Okay, perfect. Well, I think audio is working well. We'll let people trickle in. I will do a very short introduction. My name is Bianca Penuelas at Prospera Ventures, and welcome to our first live on our first series, which is Build, Grow, Exit. As we let people trickle in, I am just going to kick us off with sharing something a little bit special. If anyone's out there that runs a business, sometimes you find that it's hard to gather data and what to do with that data. And I wanted to share, actually, let me share my screen so you guys can see it. Oh, is it going to let me share? I don't think it's going to actually let me share. Oh, it is. So this is the last newsletter that we put out. And sometimes there are highlights, just kind of summary at the beginning, let people know what they're going to read, a little quote, get those owners engaged. And then I wanted to feature this last month some fun facts, because I feel like when we gather data and we don't exactly know what to do with it, it just kind of helps us drive us and bring some of the effort forward for what you're going to do next. So here I actually went through, because we weren't using a full CRM last year. It was a big Excel sheet with notes and contact and numbers. And I actually went through and gathered a lot of our data. And so I want to share this with you guys. We last year reached over 700 businesses, either phone call, email, on-site visit, and sometimes multiple times. And of those 700 plus businesses that we reached out to, we only got data from 20 different businesses. Holy smokes. Of those 20, we only received, or we only sent out offers or letter of intents to buy 8. This is a less than 2% success rate. And I want to share this to kind of kick us off, just because if you go to our website and if you look at a lot of the facts of small to mid-sized businesses, when people say that only 1 in 10 businesses, or sometimes it's like 1 in 11, very small, will sell successfully this year, they're not joking, because people aren't ready or they don't understand the process. So I just wanted to highlight this. If you haven't gotten any of our newsletters, we'll highlight blogs, different wins from our companies or what we've done in the last month, as well as sometimes a service spotlight. So what we're looking to do, and honestly, just kind of share different things as business owners for you all. And hopefully you guys are getting content, good things out of this. It says I have someone join, but I can't see where. This is the first time using YouTube Live, by the way. So if this looks a little crazy, I am so sorry. I really hope that I can manage properly. Anyways, any events that we've done or that we're going to, we also highlight in the newsletter for the month. And you can always find this on our event page too. So if you're a business owner and you're looking at, for instance, a new YouTube series like ours, or maybe you're going to a conference that's local, or if we're traveling for a conference and you're interested, please reach out or check out what we're doing. And always give us feedback. Please reply to the email, send us feedback. Perfect. Thank you, Spencer. I love it. First time using YouTube. We're gonna get this. You can only learn by doing. So I'm really glad it's coming over pretty nicely. Now that I've shared some of those stats, I want to dive into our resources. So let me shift gears here. This whole point of this live is to really just get in touch with anyone who wanted to chat on live, and also share some cool stuff that isn't highlighted on our website, just because we want to keep it a little bit more close to the chest and with those of you that are working with us. So let me share my screen so you can see my resource list for us to kind of go through. I also am going to see, Spencer, if it lets me pull you in as let me see. added you as a moderator, but it won't let me actually pull you in. So this is some good testing grounds for us. So next time we go live, we may end up having to shove ourselves next to each other, or hopefully we're not sharing a screen and we've just got a better setup. If you have to jump off, Spencer, mwah, love you. I'm just going to go through some resources, make sure that people get some content for the day. And if anyone ends up popping up, maybe we'll do some Q&A. So let's dive in. This is our tools and resource page. I've got two screens here, so let me make sure I'm not distracting you guys by looking elsewhere. Here. Awesome. So our tools and resource page, like I said, it's not immediately accessible from our website. You have to go to the URL that I put in our YouTube descriptions. I also post them a few other places when we highlight our tools. So just make sure you either are saving this or bookmarking to see new stuff that's coming out. So tools and resources, we ultimately have, I think, 3 or 4 on our resource page now. And if you guys are finding that you're needing something more in depth, or you want to work with us personally, whether it's fit for being a resource or something that we could do one-on-one, please let us know. It's something we are super excited to keep doing for you all. And I'm just going to walk through each very briefly, show you what it looks like, a breakdown of maybe why we've set it up and why it's relevant to you as a business owner, and hopefully you can get the most out of it. So let's see, we're going to open up, I'm going to open this up live with you guys, by the way. Like, I know what's on these ones, but I want you to see how easy it is to just jump in, hit click, download, and immediately you can see all of these are just accessible. So as you can see, the glossary, I don't necessarily have to define too much. I think everybody knows how to read an item and what the definition is. But I wanted to just let you guys know that this isn't a full list of terminology within business and M&A. It's really just a way to get you thinking and understanding that there is more to it. But these are probably the words and foundations that you're starting to hear as you're potentially planning your exit. So you can see we broke this down into 5 major categories. Every sheet has a little bit about Spencer and myself. You can read more about us, or some of our previous videos explain a bit about our story and what we're doing now. High level, previous entrepreneurs. I told Spencer no more startups, and here we are looking to grow and buy businesses that have a solid foundation and something that we can take our previous skills and accelerate with. So high level, that's us. Happy to take questions and answers if anyone jumps on later and has them. And here we go. So just, again, high level, go through some of these words. You've probably seen them before. If you're the one managing your books because you're a very small business or you don't have a bookkeeper, you've probably seen some of these, right? Revenue, sales, net income, and really, especially EBITDA, right? Some people really understand EBITDA. A lot of businesses are valued on EBITDA. Totally depends on industry, startup, technology, like how you're valued. But EBITDA, you're going to hear thrown out there a lot. So really try and understand what you're working with. Assets and liabilities, you've maybe taken out a loan before, maybe you have a bunch of equipment. Again, sliding through some of this here. Valuation and deal structure. So now diving into a little bit more of that exit planning strategy. What does that process look like? We have a specific episode just on what does that process look like in terms of offer and due diligence. As you can see, what does that purchase agreement mean? So really just diving into these details of what is a deal look like? How do I value? What kind of terms should I be looking for and getting out of it? Next category, diving deeper into the financial and funding side of things, right? Equity is probably a really big thing. You hear startups throw around, you can get equity all the time. It goes a little bit deeper than that. We won't dive into it this episode. You've probably seen your financial person really look closer at the cover ratio. If you've gotten a loan before, they've probably looked at something similar with your financial statements. And then here is kind of interesting. I really wanted to dive into some of these other items that you hear get thrown out there: private equity, ESOP, mezzanine loan, which is just a type of financing. Just to show you guys that there are more than one way to either expand your business or financially prep for what someone could be using to fund an acquisition of sorts. Obviously, PE has a very bad name out there, depending on who you are and the stories you've heard, but not all private equity is terrible. I think creating a relationship and really understanding where this firm's coming from, kind of like any buyer, really helps you understand the goals of someone and what they're doing. Speaking of buyers, right? Next area here is types of buyers and mergers. So really understanding who could you actually sell your business to and why are they named so differently? So breaking it down, what's the difference between a merger versus an acquisition? These could be, I mean, they're a little bit nuanced, but again, high level, help you understand what you're looking for. And what's everybody's role, right? You're a seller. Maybe there's multiple sellers or owners of a business. Buying, managing, and working with an advisor, shareholder versus stakeholder, and of course, succession planning. So, high level, this is the glossary that we've set up for you. A few things you could do as next steps. If you're finding that there are more that you would want on here or something that you think is really important to have as part of this list, please ping us, let us know. I would love to make sure that this is just a cohesive list that someone that's getting into business or trying to understand what's going on as a business owner can use to help them navigate. So if you see something that's really important and missing, ping us. I'm going to move on to the next one, actually the next two, because I think they really correlate and work together. So we've got this business health assessment, and we've also got this exit readiness checklist. And this can come in really two forms, in a way of you're already a business owner and you're trying to understand, what do I need to do to get ready to exit? So I think let's start with the exit checklist and the exit readiness, because this one you can really start evaluating your business right now in terms of what's next to do. And again, we've got a little intro here, how to use the guide. And this one you could easily just walk through within these three categories. Oops, I went too fast. In the three categories: financial, operational, and there's one more. Of course, I didn't actually put an outline here. Maybe I should fix that. But financial readiness, right? You can go through this and say, are my financials up to date and accurate? Check mark, not check mark. Can I show 3 years of financial performance? Check or not check. And so going through this really quickly and seeing, okay, where might I have these small little gaps that I should look at, jumping in and maybe figuring out the next few months before the end of the year, maybe planning for it next year. And again, I'm not going to dive through all of these. I just want to give you an idea of what that looks like. Operational dependence. Can my business run day to day? There's a lot of owner dependence out there. Remember, if someone's looking to buy your business, they're not looking to buy you with it unless you come with the business. Are you going to continue to run that business for the next 5 to 10 years? In that case, great, owner dependent, but I'd really like to understand who's doing what is that SOP. If you're familiar and you've watched the series before, you know I'm a huge advocate for SOPs. The next category we have here is buyer appeal, right? Are you attractive to buyers, whether that's someone like us who is more strategic, if that's PE, if that's trade? They don't want to see certain things like this. Do you have a client that's over 25% of your revenue? It makes it very risky for them to come in and say, yeah, it's fine if they're 80% revenue and the contract ends up disappearing or they reject moving forward with you as a client in a few weeks. They are now no longer making money, right? So it makes it hard to finance. It makes it hard for them to come in, and it's just risky. A few others listed there, and we've got exit clarity. This is one of the biggest things I feel like Spencer and I talk about. Planning with the end in mind, right? Really understand where you're going with your business so that you can either clearly communicate that to your team, but also clearly understand with yourself. What are you looking for, right? What are you looking for monetary wise, freedom wise, your day-to-day life, right? Some people have really big families and grandkids and or they want to move to a different country, and that's not feasible because they've locked themselves in to this position. So I highly, highly recommend you start defining maybe a timeline or those goals to figure out what you're looking for. I feel like when I get clarity, I'm able to not only get excited, but execute a lot better and faster. So come to terms, don't don't waste your money trying to go for an exit when you don't even understand what that exit is, something that you what that looks like for you, because it does take time and money and effort, and you don't want to be wasting that when you could just be sitting there figuring out what do you and your family want and need out of this process. And I guess that's why we add advisor, broker, team, right? Spencer and I work as a team to help people figure out that clarity, because it's a big decision that you have to make. This business is your baby. We understand, like, there's so much value and love and sweat and tears that go into it. And so you really have to have someone, even if they're just an advocate, right, to say, no, you did so much. Now, how can we make that value reflect what you've done? And getting clarity on what your value is and what you've done and what that exit plan is just going to help you thrive in what you're doing. And I just want to say with that one more, there are so many people that start businesses. I can't remember the statistic on how many people start a business in a year and they fail within the first 3 to 5 years. They're planning and executing on this startup business without understanding their exit strategy, right? They don't know what they want for this. They just know maybe they have a passion, right? Or an idea, and they think that we can just execute on it. And they get into it, they're in the grind, and 5 years down the road, or even 2 years, right, when it's not doing what you need it to do, you just kind of dissolve it. And even those 2 years of sweat, time, and equity and tears, it's feels like you wasted time. I know you learned a bunch, but don't feel like you just have to dissolve, right? There are people out there who've done what you've done and know how to do it better. And that's not to be a stab at you necessarily. It's just there's so many people out there that are willing to help, and you should take them on their advice. So this is the checklist, right? Go through it, reach out if you want a free evaluation, super easy to go through. And this takes us to business health assessment. This one's super cool too, because not only are we giving you a few of the tools and the breakdowns, but we're also telling you in this one that there are steps to take. So if this isn't working for you, this is what you need to do. And in this one, like we'll go through a bit of pillar one just so you can see what I'm talking about. But this one, we broke it down into 3 pillars: financial, operational, and market. And technically you should be able to do this in 30 minutes. If it's taking you longer than 30 minutes, there's more help that you probably need, unfortunately, to figure out, okay, once a year I sit down and I just go through and see where am I at. Once a quarter even. I mean, 30 minutes shouldn't deter you from sitting down and figuring out what you're doing. So as an example, pillar 1, financial health, analyzing your margins, right? And here we're telling you, here's your action. Pull the last 12 to 24 months of your financial data. Calculate your margins, gross and net, and we show you how to do that. And then if certain things are true between both of them, these are a little bit generic and should be able to work across different industries. There are some industries that vary much more drastically, but these are good targets to have. You're probably running pretty efficiently. If not, this is what you need to do. Look at your prices, look at your costs, look at your expenses, and how do you improve the profitability so your margins can get better. Now, if you're the only one doing this, it can be a little bit hard to try and navigate that. Everyone's rooting for AI, ChatGPT. Talk to them about it, right? Hey, my margin hit less than 10%. what are steps I can take today? Here's what my business is. This is what I do. These are my expenses. Like, give them everything the AI bot needs to know and give you a step-by-step list. You don't need me necessarily, but I'm happy to help, right? Reach out and tell me you need help figuring out how to increase your prices and reduce supplier costs. Love it. So this one goes through and gives you all kinds of steps for 3 categories. And then we give you a little bit of notes at the end, right? So if you're having a hard time, specifically in this financial area, let's look at finding an expert. It doesn't have to be us. It could be a CFO, fractional or not. It could be someone in your industry. It could be someone who's already done this 10 times before and can tell you exactly what's going wrong. And if you need referrals, guess what? We know somebody. So again, this one just goes through each different category, lists the steps for you to take, make sure you're doing what you need to do, and of course, reaching out to us if you need anything. Now, those are the 3 resources we have for you. And at the very end of our resource page, you can actually qualify your business. What the heck does that mean? Well, if you go ahead and click it, you can take a survey. So you're an owner, you've been in business for how long? What industry? What's your gross revenue? And you go through all these questions that help us understand who you are and what do you do as a business, and and hold on, let me take a step back here. If your business in your category is worth us saying, hey, I think we could be good partners for potentially buying your business. So this is just saying, hey, if you're thinking of potentially selling and you want someone to actually come in and buy your business, Bianca, Spencer, I would love you guys to buy my business. Here's how you qualify it. Go through these steps. We will reach out when you're done and say, hey, we think you'd be a good fit, or hey, we actually might have someone better suited for you and your business. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're working with us, although we would more than love to work with everybody that comes across our I don't want to say desk because no one's coming across our desk. We work from home, obviously, as you can see. So just reach out, right? I hope you guys really enjoyed having these tools and resources. If you find that you're needing something different, I would love for you guys to reach out. I am the SOP person, and I find a way to make different things that work for us and hopefully work for you while you're doing this. Now let me stop sharing, move some stuff around, and make sure I'm not missing anything, because I think at this point in time, it was great sitting here and doing a live with you. And honestly, it's nice not having to feel like there's pressure to edit in time for you guys. And you can watch this back however many times you want on YouTube. And I think this is actually going to conclude our full series of Build, Grow, Exit. And I'm just happy that anyone that's tuned in, anyone that's sent any comments in, thank you for reaching out. And if you are finding you need more resources, please reach out, tag us. Our email is info@weprospera.com, or you can give us a call, as well as follow us on all of our social channels, which are nicely listed everywhere on our YouTube page. So until next time, bye for now.